I mentioned at the top of the program, while we've got good news out of the Supreme Court today on some cases, there are activist judges at the lower courts continuing to thwart the efforts and the will of the people to protect minors from gender mutilation and sterilization. And as I also mentioned, the governor of Louisiana is poised to veto bills passed by the legislature here, which we're going to discuss in just a moment. I'm going to bring in Travis Weber, Vice President of Policy and Government Affairs here at the Family Research Council, to give us an update on what the courts have been doing, as we've seen over 20 states enact bills to protect children from these dangerous procedures. Travis, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thanks for having me, Tony.
All right, so the latest is in Tennessee, where a federal judge has struck down Tennessee's law, but that's not the only one.
No, not at all. We've got ongoing litigation in Arkansas where the case has been going on since 2021, when that state passed the first SAFE Act, robust protections for minors against these horrible gender transition experiments. The ACLU stepped in and challenged that law. That case has been winding its way from federal district court up to the Eighth Circuit and back since then. The latest is a decision on the ACLU's request to have the court block the state's law, supposedly as a violation of certain constitutional provisions. I think it's a shoddy opinion. Unfortunately, it's not very sound. As we've seen before, some of these 14th Amendment due process claims, equal protection claims, there's a lot of wishful thinking underlying the claim, and unfortunately, it is what it is, but we have a bad decision claiming to rely on constitutional grounds, blocking common sense law, which protects kids from these horrific procedures. That's the latest. That's going to probably go back up to the Eighth Circuit, though, and eventually the U.S. Supreme Court. But as it stands now, you have a federal judge stepping in and purporting to stand in the place of experts who actually know better. Unfortunately, the judge is injecting a lot of his own views into the matter in this opinion, though.
Yeah, I find that very interesting. This is a judge. I mean, obviously he should know the law, and that's good. I look to him to know the law. I don't look for him to know medical science. And that's what he asserts a lot in his opinion when, as you said, there are medical experts that have testified on this. Now, I understand there are conflicting medical experts on this, but you also have to look at the agendas that some of these quote-unquote experts have in terms of many of them are there simply to advance this mutilation of minors when it comes to the transgender agenda. Travis, one thing this reminds me of, going back at my time in the legislature some 25 years ago, back then the life issue was very controversial and judges were stepping in. In fact, I had a few of my laws that I passed through the legislature only to have struck down by judges. But we didn't give up. We went back and we did it again, and we did it again, and we did it again, and we did it again. And guess what happened? That's how we ended up with the Dobbs decision a year ago. So the point here is that I applaud these lawmakers who are working on these issues at the state level, but we should not at all think that this is over.
No, absolutely, Tony. And the lesson is persevere, as you're saying. I mean, look, and people are persevering. We had one law in 2021, Arkansas, and then there was 3 more that were passed in the past few years. This year, as of this year, we have 20 states with these laws. There's actually 23 laws, some in the same state on slightly overlapping issues, but all protecting minors against these horrific, they're really experiments on children. That's what's going on here, an ideological driven experiment. And unfortunately, as you noted, it has captured some of the heights of our society, because the judge, in the opinion in the Arkansas case, what he'll do is lean on claims of medical associations, the American Medical Association, et cetera. But as our own Jennifer Bowens has pointed out in her testimony in support of some of these laws, the basis of these professional associations' opinions is very shoddy. It's really consensus-based, meaning the opinions of those involved, not based on long-term academic rigorous studies. As Jennifer's done, if you look at the studies, the science is not there, but they're holding the veil of science over this opinion, as this judge does, sadly, in his so-called findings of fact. They're really claims that they're not based on fact. But sadly, many are being hoodwinked into believing this is some good course of action. It's harming many. Thankfully, though, states are standing up. 20 states are standing up and stopping this so far. We need more to stand up, and at the federal level as well, to stop this onslaught, because thankfully, these laws are going to protect many who years from now will otherwise regret what they would have done. Sadly, I think many are regretting this and coming out of this lifestyle. We're seeing some of the damage being stopped. We need to stop as much as we can, because sadly, society is telling a lie to youth and their families and parents and others on this. And we're going to see a lot of damage years from now unless it is stopped right now.
You're absolutely right. A lot of regret if we don't act. Travis Weber, always great to see you. Thanks so much for the update.
Thank you.